Hi, I'm Glenn Garner from Deadline, and I'm here with Riz Ahmed and Guz Khan from Bait. How's it going?
Well, man, how you doing?
How are you?
I'm great. I have been watching Bait, and it's such a fun show. I mean, it's an interesting approach to really, I guess, the struggles of being an actor or a creative.
That's the last way I want to describe, bro. Please don't describe the show as an interesting insight into the struggles of an actor. No one's going to watch it, man.
Don't let him stress you out. If that's how you felt, that's how you felt.
That's
I'm
not.
with you, man.
Delete that.
I'm with you. Don't delete it. Leave it on live.
Listen. Let me. Here's what's I'm playing. Obviously, you know. Here's the thing. It's like it's drawn from my own experience because I wanted to make it personal, vulnerable, and messy. But actually, it's not really about being an actor. It's about something that I think everyone can relate to, which is that sometimes life feels like one big audition. We feel like we're constantly trying to prove ourselves to our peers, to strangers online, to our ex who's secretly still following us, to ourselves, you know? We're constantly trying to do better, be the upgrade. We're never happy with who we are. And so it can feel like you're constantly auditioning in life and you've never quite got the role. That's kind of what the show is about. It's about that feeling like you're not good enough.
Yeah.
You know?
I certainly appreciated that part of it. But yeah, I guess what I meant is, when you see the clips and it's about, this guy kind of like faking his way into getting the Bond role or something, but then you watch it, there's like a lot more layered into it, which I really appreciate.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, we definitely wanted to play with a lot of different genres and tones. There's a massive comedy element to it. Ultimately, this is a comedy. It's a lot of fun. There's a family drama element to it almost, right? We play cousins, and that relationship is a deep and complicated one, right? There's an action spy thriller element to the show as well. There's a romantic kind of love story to it as well. And that's because, I don't know if you ever feel this, but like sometimes it's like your life is taking place in different genres. 1 minute you're being all serious and like trying to, pretend like you've got your shit together, and you just go outside and you trip up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And suddenly you're in a slapstick comedy. We wanted the show to be as messy and contradictory tonally as our lives are. So it's been great to see people respond to that and go like, wow, okay, I didn't see that vibe coming, and now it's a different energy. So yeah.
And you two have such a great comedic chemistry as well. Did you know each other before, or was this all through the show?
What do you think? Let me ask you this question. What do you think?
I believed you as cousins. It was
That's good news, because basically there's no point us pretending like we really honed our craft and got the chemistry. Like, we know each other very well.
Yeah.
The energy that we have in real life we brought into this project, and I think that's really important because Riz has been very honest about who he is as a person, and there's lots of things within him that are within the character of Shah. And it's the same for me as well. And Riz identified that, especially when you're making a show with so many characters, an ensemble piece, you have to let people utilize who they really are. And Riz has had a really interesting journey on what acting is to him now, and like a little bit on, bro, because that's really hit me in terms of when we were talking about this, about how you view acting now as opposed to how you used to look at it.
Yeah. You thinking like we must know each other is I mean, it's true. And the last thing I want to do these days is like pretend. Do you know what I mean? In a way, acting is not about pretending anymore. Like, I used to, as a young actor, want to show you what I can do. But now I think it's more about sharing a part of yourself, And so I'm glad you sensed that relationship and you picked up everyone's energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also loved that your character like quips early on that, Bond is white. What was it like getting to kind of like unpack all of those, I guess, the online discourse around the whole Bond casting?
It's funny, isn't it? I mean, if you want to go online and start scrolling what people think about casting, it's like, it's hilarious. People have such strong hot takes on all these things. And that's kindly because it means something to them. Stories mean something to people. People want to see themselves in stories. People fight over these symbols. And interestingly, in this show, yes, there's a Bond audition is part of the plot, but the show is about Bond more as a symbol. To my character, who's an out-of-work actor, Bond is a symbol of success as an actor, desirability as a man, decisive, in control, never flustered, everything that he's not.
Yeah, it's really interesting you mentioned it as well, because like Zulfi as a character, it reflects some of the things that I believe personally. It's like so many names have been thrown into hat with this Bond. Riz, Idris, And for me, and I think as Zulfi as a character, if you were to ask Zulfi, hey, who would play the better Bond, Idris or Riz Ahmed? He'd be like, yo, them men are sick as they are. Why do you need to play Bond for? We don't need Bond. You are you. You're powerful in your own way. And I think in terms of how this show talks about these themes, it is a bit of a coming of age for Riz's character.
Yeah, I really appreciated that too, how it tackled the whole imposter syndrome and like where you find your worth as a creative and things like that. But I was also curious, like, was it always meant to be a Bond audition in the show, or like did you have to like get Amazon on board with that part, or was that?
Yeah, I mean, this idea of like, I started making notes in my little like notepad for like 10 years ago now about that crazy distance between our public and our private selves. You know, on the outside, it's like, wow, you're killing it, man. You're doing great. And like the waiter comes up to you and it's like, it's amazing. It's time to tip. You're like, oh, they think I'm really successful right now. I've got to send a big tip. You're broke. You know what I mean? Like these things happen, these contradictions between how we're perceived, how we want to be perceived, and who we are. That's what the show is really about. It was through discussing with my co-showrunner, Ben Carlin, we decided, we were talking about my life, some of my experiences, funny anecdotes, and the Bond thing came up. And it was like, actually, that's the perfect aspirational symbol that can help drive the story of someone who aspires to be someone else. But that's kind of not where the show grew out of. But yeah, it was a conversation with Barbara Broccoli, who understood that and understood the show's not really about that. And yeah, gave her blessing. She really loved the script. So
And you know, just to tag on to that as well, like honesty and authenticity, I feel like they're buzzwords. But when you can actually command them and put them into something like this, it's very important. Like, nobody talks about it, but there are incredible performers, actors on screen who are working second and third jobs to get by. And so this public perception that somebody might be in Star Wars or they're in a show on Netflix, that their life is completely sorted out and they've got a home of their own and their finances are sorted, that is not how acting works. This is a very arduous journey, and I think for the fact that this show showcases it in such an honest way, I think it's a really important thing for people to watch. Yeah,
I agree. And I also, what you were saying earlier, there's something about, you know, like the ups and downs of fame, like which I think it was perfectly captured at the end of the first episode with, you know, this awful hate crime that happens to his family, and then like this amazing text message from his agent. And it's like, kind of, is that just something that you both have to deal with, is, you know, being in the public eye? And
definitely there's that total difference between like how things seem from the outside and how they really are. I have to say, if not a majority, at least half of the people you see in the public eye at some point have had some kind of nervous breakdown because of that conflict and that contradiction. And so we try and approach that both from a comedic point of view in terms of the comedy of stress and anxiety, but also really trying to explore some of that, you know, and unpack that.
Bro, real life is crazy. Online world is crazy. I still be punching people at gas stations sometimes. It gets out of hand. Life is life, you know what I mean? And I think this show is like actors, and you have teams around you that try and showcase you as this perfect individual who's like sin-free and fault-free. Nah, man, we were making mistakes all the time.
I am sin-free and fault-free.
Absolutely.
But he's
not.
a very flawed person.
Yes.
And this is part of his rehabilitation into society, is acting in this role. Yeah,
So
step by step.
You know, at the end of the day, honesty in this show is something that, especially within comedy and honesty go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You can't pretend. When you're going to go and attempt to tell a joke, you can't pull your hand and half it. You have to swing the bat. And that's why they say comedy and honesty and bravery, they're all in one pot. And so I think people are really going to enjoy the show. I think it's unique for me. Being someone who does comedy for a living, stand-up, I don't think I've seen anything like this show, and I mean that in the most positive way. So we're excited for people to see.
yeah, I'm already hooked, so I'm looking
thank you
forward
very
to the
much
rest
for
of
that,
it. Yeah. And one quick question I just have to ask: was the Dev Patel scene like based on something that actually happened? Because I mean,
I'm constantly getting confused for Dev Patel. It's happened once, like when he got nominated for BAFTA, I think a very big fashion brand posted a photo of me saying, "Congrats to Dev Patel for this." It happened to me in an Uber this week in London. This guy was going, bro, is that you? Yeah. I was like, yeah, it's me. He was like, I love your work, bro. It's sick, man. He's like, yeah. Slumdog, that's you, yeah. At that point, you just go, yeah, that's me. That's me. I just take it. Sorry, Dev. I got to take the wins where I can at this point, you know. It's hilarious how we all get kind of confused for each other, and yeah, we're just trying to have fun with it in this show. So that was part of it.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure talking about
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.